What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Ton Does Linux and More. And let me tell you, you picked a good week to tune in, because this was not just another week in the Linux world. This was monumental. We're talking about a new kernel that could be the next LTS, a brand new Ubuntu release that's packed with some seriously cool and seriously important security features. And the first laptop shipping with a desktop environment that could change the way we look at the Linux desktop forever. So, grab your coffee, settle in, because we have a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Alright, first up, the heart of our systems, the Linux kernel. And the big news, the really big news, is that Linus Torvalds has officially rolled out the first release candidate for Linux Kernel 6.18. Now, why is this so exciting? Well, not only is it packed with a ton of new features, but it's also expected to be the 2025 long-term support LTS kernel. That means this is the kernel that will be the foundation for many of our favorite distros for years to come. So what's inside? We're seeing a lot of work getting ready for future hardware, with preparations for AMD's Zen 6 processors and Intel's Wildcat Lake and Panther Lake platforms. There's also a big focus on virtualization, with KVM getting support for Control Flow Enforcement Technology, or CET, on both AMD and Intel chips, which is a fancy way of saying it's getting even more secure. And for all you Rust fans out there, a new Rust-based DRM driver for ARM Mali GPUs called Tyre has been added. It's still early days, but it's another sign of Rust's growing importance in the kernel. And as we welcome 6.18, we say goodbye to an old friend. Linux Kernel 6.16 has officially reached its end of life. So, if you're still running on 6.16, it's time to upgrade to the current stable release, which is 6.17. Next up, a release I know many of you have been waiting for. On October 9th, Canonical officially released Ubuntu 25.10, the questing Quokka. And this isn't just a fresh coat of paint. This release is all about modernizing the Ubuntu experience and beefing up security. On the desktop, we're getting GNOME 49, which brings some nice touches like media controls on the lock screen and two new apps, a sleek new image viewer called Loop, and a new terminal emulator, Pixis. But the really interesting stuff is under the hood. Ubuntu 25.10 is one of the first major distros to adopt sudo rs, a re-implementation of the classic sudo command but written in Rust. Why does that matter? Memory safety. It makes one of the most critical parts of our system much more resilient to bugs and security vulnerabilities. And they're not stopping there. They're also adopting UUtils, a Rust-based version of the core utils package. This is a huge step forward for the security of the entire Linux ecosystem, and it's happening right now in Ubuntu. We're also seeing experimental support for TPM-backed full disk encryption. And network time security is now enabled by default. This Quokka is one tough little animal. Of course, it's not just about kernels and distros. Our favorite apps have been getting some love too. The GIMP team has rolled out version 3.0.6, which includes, get this, improved support for Photoshop brushes. That's a big deal for artists and designers who are making the switch to open source. LibreOffice also got an update, with version 25.8.2 bringing over 70 bug fixes. And for all you network nerds out there, Wireshark 4.6 is out, and it's a major update to the world's most popular network protocol analyzer. We also saw updates for Pipewire, KDE Gear, KDE Frameworks, and a whole lot more. The open source software ecosystem is as vibrant as ever, and it's just getting better and better. Alright, now for what might be the most exciting news of the week, and maybe even the year. System 76 has just announced their new Oryx Pro laptop. And it's the very first machine to ship with their brand new, built from the ground up, Cosmic desktop environment. We've been hearing about Cosmic for a while now. It's a completely new desktop, written in Rust, and it's not just a fork of GNOME. It's a whole new vision for the Linux desktop. And from what we're seeing, it's beautiful. It's got this super slick, modern interface, with a big focus on customization and workflow. One of the coolest features is the ability to stack windows, kind of like a tabbed interface for your apps. It's a really interesting take on window management, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. The Oryx Pro itself is a beast with an AMD Ryzen AI processor and NVIDIA graphics. But the real star of the show is Cosmic. All right. Is this the future of the Linux desktop? It's too early to say for sure, but it's definitely a bold and exciting step in a new direction. And as always, there's a ton of other stuff happening in the community. The Linux Mint team has released LMDE7, their Debian-based edition of the popular distro. If you're a fan of Linux Mint but want a non-Ubuntu base, this is the one for you. We also saw a new release of Alpine Linux, the super lightweight, security-focused distro, and a whole bunch of other distros got updates too. It's impossible to cover them all, but it just goes to show how much passion and creativity there is in the Linux community. So there you have it. A new kernel on the horizon, a new Ubuntu with a focus on security, and a brand new desktop environment that's challenging the status quo. It's an incredible time to be a Linux user. The innovation that's happening right now is just off the charts. But what do you guys think? What are you most excited about? Are you going to be trying out Ubuntu 25.10? Are you as hyped for Cosmic as I am? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to stay up to date on all the latest Linux news, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss a thing. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.